I was in Boston for a couple of days, your old stomping grounds up there. Watched the Celtics play the Jazz.
Shout out to Chris Mannix.
Shout out to Chris,
Shout
Andy
out to
Mannix
Chris.
in Boston. Yes,
I mean Andy Mannix. My
Andy
bad. Shout
Mannix.
out to Andy,
Yes,
the better looking Mannix. Let's get it.
I wouldn't go
Nah,
that far.
now you're
I
right. You're
wouldn't.
on TV. He's in the equipment room, so we can't say that, right?
Exactly,
All right, cool.
exactly. Um, they lost to the Jazz on Monday. People killed them for that. I actually think the Jazz are better than people think.
Yeah,
Frankly, I think Larry Markkinen can ball, and Keontae George is a starting point guard in the NBA.
I love
But
King.
yeah, but regardless, lose the game against Utah, come back and win by a big number against the woebegone Washington Wizards. Um, the Celtics, like, to me, they're just playing the exact same way they have in the past with different personnel. Like, they are still number one in the NBA in 3-point shots, but they are 27th by my count right now in 3-point percentage. They lost their top 3 or 4 3-point shooters, but they continue to bomb away from the outside. They lost all their big men, so they're having problems rebounding the basketball. They're a game under 500. Jaylen Brown has been great,
Yeah.
but Derek White has struggled. Peyton Pritchard's been okay. And even though guys like Neemias Queta has done some good things, they just don't have the horses up front, Evan, to compete. Like, that game they had against Houston was bad. Like, Houston's the biggest team in the league by a country mile,
Yeah.
but that was like watching the varsity versus the JV when it came to size in that one. Is this where you expected the Celtics to be, hovering around 500? Brown playing great, everybody else kind of scuffling, or did you have different expectations for the Celtics this season?
No, this is where I expected them to be, hovering around 500. It's a whole new team here. So when it comes down to it, even Peyton Pritchard's a new starter. So I figured when the season started out, guys would have to figure out ways to play, how to hit their stride, and how to, make every lineup and situation advantageous. Even Joe Mazzulla said that earlier. When you talk about the game versus Utah Jazz, what they missed 43s, it was like the most misses ever in history. But what was crazy was there wasn't anybody within like 4 feet of them for those threes. So when we're talking about the offense is still getting better. I mean, my man Peyton Pritchard hasn't hit a 3 yet. He hasn't really been shooting the way he wants to. I think from this season he's 22%, but his career 39%. And then Derek White, he hasn't shot it well from the 3 or the field. I think field he's like 32%, and from the 3 he's 27%. But
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you about those two guys as you mentioned them. Jaylen Brown's been great. Like, he has proven that he can be a number one guy. Like, he can accept that responsibility and thrive in it. One of my questions coming into the season was, how would some of these guys respond when they're bumped up a level, right? Like, Jaylen Brown goes from 2 to 1. He's obviously done really well. Derek White goes from 3 to 2, or maybe even 4 to 2. Whatever you want to consider, like Horford last season. Same thing with Peyton Pritchard. Goes from the 6th man to a starter where the expectations are higher. You know this. Like, you've read scouting reports. Like, you get bumped up the scouting reports too.
Yeah.
Like, you're talked about more.
Yeah.
Defenses are gearing towards you a little bit more. I think that has something to do with the struggles of guys like Pritchard and White, and really everybody not named Jaylen Brown. Like, I think the fact that there's more responsibility on them and teams are geared more towards them has been a problem.
No, you're absolutely right. And I'm a big Peyton Pritchard fan, so I'm almost waiting for him to be a 20-point scorer once his 3-point shot does fall. He's a killer, so you can't tell me that. I think one thing with Derek White, I've always been a Derek White fan as well. He's almost like Chandler Parsons. Like, man, he's good when he's the 4th option. When you try to make him the cute second, that's on you, and and you're gonna have to wait for his development in that, because at this level, the highest level in the NBA, it's hard to slide from the 4th or 5th option to number 2 and go get that second best defender, especially when you've been killing the past few years. And when guys are loaded up on you being like, hey, we can't let JB beat us or let Derek White beat us. Shout out to Derek White and the Team USA and everything, but I mean, I think Zach LaVine likes his eyes if he lines up against Derek White. Like, you know what I mean? Shout out to Derek White. He's a killer. I think Keontae George, who turned into Jordan for a little bit of that game, likes his eyes when he sees Derek White. And it's not nothing in a negative sense. It's just some of these superstars in the league, bro, they're not real humans. Jaylen Brown is unbelievable. Derek White is unbelievable. Don't let me get it wrong. But I'm just saying, like, to be the second option of OKC for a championship team is Jalen Williams. What did he put up in the finals? a
Mm.
40 point, you know? So I think it's going to have to be done by committee. I think I more so rely on Peyton Pritchard in my personal opinion because I'm like, hey, he's going to get shots going, he's going to have the ball going, and Ant Simons, but they have to do it by committee. And you look at Josh Manoy and the big man Keita, even though they got abused by the Rockets, their net rating as a big man, like a duo, these past couple of games are like second, only behind Bam Adebayo and James Jaquez Jr. So it's something to be said and to work with. But like we said, we're going to be giving up a lot of bodies because if Keita could have kept Nurkic off the glass, they'd be 5-4. And then if you
Mm.
sit here again, I'm a big what if guy. If they would have handled their business versus a debut VJ Edgecombe that put up 35, now they would have been, 6-3. So
Yeah.
you come around there, and if Derek White just shot bad, not terrible, you understand what I'm saying? So it's made Joe Mazzulla rely on going different ways. So even versus the Wizards, you saw them try to do the small ball, try to get the ball spread out and trying to hit them at different levels. And you saw Josh Manoy have a career high the other day with 21 points and a couple threes. But I'm not against it. This is exactly where I think. Like I said, I always believe in culture, and I think at a certain point as well, to play devil's advocate. Sorry for being long-winded. I think Payton and Derek, like knowing Joe, they're asked to do a lot more just mentally and just really setting a tone. I think their legs have to get under them. JB's been used to carrying a team for the past 4 or 5 years with JT. So I think now what they're asking, like, yo, set the tone. You got to really guard. Like Payton really has to guard now. Derek
Mm.
White really has to guard. There's no more Drew Holiday doing some cute stuff. There's no more Al Horford being like, let me take the foul on you so I can play another pick and roll switch that I'm not supposed to be doing. So I think there's levels of guys just having to step up all around and they're just getting their body ready.
Yeah, and I give them credit. Like they are still, and I'm looking up the numbers right now. They are still, I think, one of the better. Well, 13th. Sorry, now they're a top 10 defensive team. They're ninth in defensive efficiency.
Yeah.
That's really impressive. Like
Yeah.
because they don't have front court guys. Like
Mm.
Keith is fine. Josh Minot is good. Like he's been a good find for them in giving them meaningful minutes at multi positions. I think they played him some center against
Yeah. Small ball
Washington.
center.
I'm
Yep.
not sure how that's sustainable
Yeah.
that is, but like he's been good. The fact they're a top 10 defensive team speaks to the effort that they play with and Joe Mazzulla's skills as a defensive coach. That's impressive. I just look at some of the things they're weak at. I don't think they're going to get measurably better at. Like they're not going to become a better rebounding team. Like
At
they're
all.
not. They just don't have the horses for it.
Nope.
And if they continue to shoot threes at this kind of clip, those numbers are not going to measurably improve. The guys they have are not great 3-point shooters. You lost Jason Tatum, one of the best offensive players in the NBA. Al Horford, one of the best shooting bigs in the NBA. Kristaps Porzingis, an elite 3-point shooting big. You lost those guys and replaced them with lesser shooters. And no matter. And you mentioned the open shots; they had a lot of open looks
Yep.
in some
It
of these
did.
last couple of games.
Yeah.
So I don't see that getting measurably better. I think I thought they'd be a couple of games under 500 to finish the season. I think that was my prediction for them. I see no reason to change that. That might be good enough to be like a 6th seed in the Eastern Conference based
Oh
on
yeah.
what we've seen.
I'm with you if it means they in the playoffs. I can't see I can't see many people not make like right now. Shout out to the Bulls. I love the Bulls, but they're number one.
Yep.
So like I text my buddy, a coach for the Bulls the other day. I was like, yo, that game versus Sixers was so damn bad, but I was angry that y'all won. Like I went home halfway through, and then when I woke up and found out that y'all won, I was like, yo, this is going to be the wildest year in sports, and I'm grateful for it. But
Mm.
1,000%. I think the Celtics are still going to make it. Anytime you have a top 10 defense, you're going to give yourself a lot of opportunities, especially when it comes down to scrapping. So, I don't know if they'll win around 40 games or not, but they're going to give themselves an opportunity to make something happen.
Let me give you one hot take on the Celtics
Um,
before we go.
and I'm naive. You know what I mean? So you got to like beat me off the Celtics bandwagon. You know what I
I
mean?
got you. I got
Yeah,
you. I
yeah,
got
yeah,
you.
yeah.
So my hot take, like everybody's looking at the Celtics and wondering if they're gonna sell off some of these pieces. Like Anthony Simons, like they really can't give him away. Like to move off Simons, you're gonna have to attach a draft pick, and Boston doesn't want to do that. But
Yeah.
there's some merit to moving Simons for a lesser contract, getting under the luxury tax, all the mechanics that go into play to help the team with future cap flexibility. I go the other way, Evan. I would encourage the Celtics to be buyers at the deadline, not because I think that they are going to somehow find their way to contender status this year, because I don't think Tatum should come back, and B, even if he
Yeah.
does come back, he's not going to be Jason Tatum, not this year anyway. But when I watch the Jazz game, I'm looking at Lowry marketed,
Yeah.
and I'm seeing a perfect Celtic.
Yeah.
Like, I am seeing a guy that is built to play in this Joe Mazzulla system,
Yeah.
a multi-positional big man who doesn't need the ball to be
At all.
successful. This is something Will Hardy and I were talking about the other night. Like, he cuts, he moves without the ball, and he loves playing that way. So
Yeah.
he doesn't need to be in isolation all the time to
Yeah.
get his points. Shoots the three pretty well and seems to thrive more in winning situations. Had his best year of his career in 22-23 when you remember the Jazz got off that really hot start. They were like number one in the
Yeah.
West for
Yeah.
like a minute and a half in December. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah.
They had the All-Star game in Utah that year. That was the best year of Lowry Markkanen's career. His production has dipped some since then. And from what I hear, that's attributable to the fact that they've stunk. And it's been really hard for him to get motivated to play in those types of games. Like this past summer, he's playing for Finland. He's
Yeah.
playing for his country. He's balling out.
Yeah.
He's
Going
playing great.
crazy.
He's going crazy because he's playing in winning situations. You put Lowry Markkanen in Boston, playing that Kristaps Porzingis role for the
1,000.
next 4 years, because he's under contract for 4+ years now. You have the reconstitution of a potential Celtics dynasty. I understand the price tag is high. Lowry Markkanen makes like $50 million per year. It's hard to do deals like that. You're going to have to give up some draft capital to your old pal Danny Ainge and Austin Ainge in Utah. But man, when I watched Lowry Markkanen play, I'm like, that guy was born to play in this Celtics system opposite Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. That would be the guy that, if he's available, I know Utah's doing a whole song and dance about saying, no, we don't need to trade him. We can build around him. I call bullshit on that. He's 28 years old. Your
Yeah.
entire team is like 21. Your future star is 19 in Ace
Yeah.
Bailey. Like, I think they're just playing games there. That's a guy that if I was Boston, I would go all in, chips all in to get that guy and make him the third star of my team.
Yeah, I'm with you when you're right. I'm absolutely with you when you're right, because at the end of the day, I'm all about worried about what'll help Jason and Jaylen and this rare duo. You know what I mean? You have to win now when you have a group of guys like this. Danny traded a lot of players, to get these picks and did a lot in order for this to make it work. If you put them with Jason and Jaylen is going to get to the Eastern Conference Finals by themselves. So you don't want something to miss. And they're not asking you to buy the most expensive team again. We just want one more piece to ride out our prime and get right back into the dynasty situation, especially considering you got to do something to go up against OKC, because that matchup of Jason and Jaylen versus SGA, Jalen Williams, and then you got Chet Holmgren. You got to get back to, this is still an arms race in the NBA right now. If you want to win, there's very few people are winning with just coaches. Like, you need 3 or 4 solid ones, and OKC is at a dynasty right now. So I'm totally with you. You said everything you need to say. That would be perfect and beautiful. Somebody's asking to bring back 3 more $50 million players. We just need one more to go with those pieces and finesse from there.
Yep. You got to spend, you got to go big, or you're going to go home against Oklahoma City, because that team ain't going anywhere. I'm watching AJ Mitchell look like the next big thing. He's under contract for 3 more years at $9 million.
It's scary. So it's like you're not beating, unless God forbid one of them you're not one of them is already hurt and they're still good. Like, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, Chet's missed some time already this season. And they've got, not to make this an Oklahoma City conversation, but you got Lou Dort and Caruso there now as the present, and Case and Wallace and now AJ Mitchell of the future. Like, you're going to be able to hold on to your core. Like, Chet's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Jalen's not going anywhere. Shai's not going anywhere. You got those 3 guys, and if you keep adding on with this cheap talent, like the AJ Mitchell stuff, it's so smart. Like, they signed for that. He's a 2-way player last year. They gave him a 3-year deal at $9 million. The 3rd year is a team option. You know what they're going to do? They're going to play 2 years, tear up that team option, give him a team-friendly deal instead. That's going to get AJ more money in the short term and save them more money in the long term. And they're going to have this guy for 7-8 years.
Yeah.
It's while he's developing into an all-star caliber player. It's crazy.
and it's an arms and you can't be naive. They got the keys to everything over there. So it's literally if you want to. And what I say too when it comes to the front office is damn if you do, damn if you don't. You're giving two kids $1 billion in a span of 12 years. So make it 2.5 billion, I guess. Like when it's coming to Jason and Jalen, you know what I mean? Like you have to add on with that. And this is Boston. This is championship territory. It's a no brainer. I love what you said with that. Laurie Markkinen. Nobody's asking to bring back Drew. Just one more killer, and that's it because you're going to need it.
I think he'd be great in that situation. All right, Evan. I know you're headed to the airport. I hope your flight takes off within 3 hours of your scheduled time.
Thanks,
That's
bro.
kind of.
Hey, bro, and good shit on that Laurie Mark. That's gonna make you a lot of money, man. That's a hell of a thought, bro.
I told you I had a hot take. I had a hot take
Yeah,
on that.
no,
I had to get it
hell,
off my chest.
that's a hottest take, man. I'm kind of jealous. I wish I would have said that shit.